Welcome back to the Quantum Soul. I am so
Mm.
excited for this deep dive because we're going to be exploring a connection. That just might blow your mind. We're talking about Carl Jung,
Hmm.
Albert Einstein, and Buddhist philosophy.
Wow.
You might be thinking, what could these three possibly have in common?
It's a good question.
But trust me, the connections are deeper than you might expect.
Yeah, it's true. We tend to put these figures in separate boxes. Jung, the psychoanalyst, Einstein, the physicist who revolutionized our understanding of the universe, and then
Yeah.
Buddhist philosophy, this ancient tradition focused on consciousness and enlightenment.
Right.
But what's fascinating is that they all seem to be circling around the same profound truth, the interconnectedness of everything.
Okay, I'm intrigued, but let's break this down a bit for our viewers. When we talk about Jung, we're talking about his exploration of the unconscious mind,
Right.
the collective unconscious,
Mhm.
archetypes. These concepts that suggest we're all connected in ways we may not even realize.
Exactly. Jung believed that beneath our individual consciousness lies a deeper layer of shared experiences and symbolic patterns. He called it the collective unconscious. Think about universal myths and symbols that appear across cultures. Things like the hero's journey or the mother archetype. These, Jung argued, tap into this shared reservoir of human experience, hinting at a profound connection beneath the surface.
So it's like we're all tuned into the same radio station, but we're only consciously aware of our own little frequency.
That's a great analogy. And what's remarkable is that this idea of interconnectedness finds resonance in Einstein's view of the universe. His theory of relativity revealed that space and time are not absolute, but relative to the observer. It's all part of this interconnected web, this unified field where ultimately everything is entangled.
So from the vastness of the cosmos to the depths of the human psyche, we're seeing echoes of this same concept, interconnectedness. It's like a hidden pattern woven into the fabric of reality itself.
And that's where Buddhism comes in. While Jung and Einstein provide these frameworks for understanding interconnectedness through psychology and physics, Buddhist philosophy offers a way to actually experience this interconnectedness directly through practices like mindfulness and meditation.
You know, I've dabbled in mindfulness meditation, and I've had moments where it felt like the boundaries between myself and the world around me dissolved. It's a hard feeling to describe, but it was definitely profound. Is that kind of what we're talking about here?
It certainly sounds like you've touched upon this deeper understanding of interconnectedness that Buddhism speaks to, this concept of interbeing, where everything is interdependent and interconnected, not just in theory, but as a lived experience. It's about recognizing that we're not separate selves moving through the world, but rather participants in this intricate web of relationships, constantly influencing and being influenced by everything around us.
Okay, so we have Jung exploring the collective unconscious, Einstein revealing the interconnected nature of space and time, and Buddhism offering practices to experience this interconnectedness directly. It's like they're all approaching the same truth from different angles.
Exactly, each providing a piece of the puzzle.
Right.
And it's at this point where things get really interesting because these converging ideas challenge our conventional perception of reality itself. We start to question the solidity of the world we think we know.
You're absolutely right. This is where we need to pause for a moment and remind our viewers, if you're loving this deep dive so far, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like this video, and share with anyone who might enjoy expanding their minds a bit. Now, let's get back to this question of reality. How do these three perspectives change our understanding of what's real?
Well, we've touched on Einstein's theory of relativity, which showed that space and time are not absolute, but relative to the observer. This was a radical departure from the Newtonian view of a fixed objective reality.
Right. Einstein's work really shook things up. It's like he was saying, hey, the universe isn't quite as straightforward as you might think.
Exactly. And then we have Buddhism, which takes it a step further by saying that our perception of reality as solid, separate, and enduring is actually an illusion. Buddhism calls this illusion Maya, a veil that obscures the true nature of interconnectedness.
So it's not that the physical world isn't real, it's just that our perception of it as separate and fixed is inaccurate.
That's a good way to put it. Buddhism isn't denying the existence of the physical world, but rather suggesting that our conventional way of seeing it is limited. It's like mistaking the map for the territory. We get so caught up in our mental constructs, our labels and categories, that we lose sight of the interconnected flow of reality itself.
Wow. I'm already feeling my mind bending a bit here. So we have Einstein challenging our notion of an objective reality, and then Buddhism suggesting that our experience of separateness is an illusion. Where does Jung fit into all of this?
Well, Jung's work on the unconscious adds another layer to this fascinating conversation. He believed that the unconscious mind holds deeper truths, truths that are often obscured by our conscious awareness.
So Jung's saying that even within ourselves, there are hidden layers of reality waiting to be discovered.
Precisely, Jung believed that by delving into the depths of our unconscious, we could gain insights into not only our individual psyches, but also the larger patterns and forces at play in the universe. He saw the unconscious as this vast, interconnected realm full of archetypal images and symbols that speak to the universal experiences of humanity.
So it's like there's this whole other dimension of reality within us, a dimension that's connected to something much larger than ourselves.
But that's a great way to think about it. And, this brings us to one of Jung's most intriguing concepts, synchronicity. He described synchronicity as these meaningful coincidences that defy causal explanation. These moments where it feels like there's some hidden order or intelligence orchestrating events in our lives.
Oh, I've definitely experienced those moments.
Yeah.
Like the time I was thinking about a friend I hadn't seen in years, and then out of the blue, she called me that same day. It felt like something more than just random chance.
Exactly. And what's fascinating is that synchronicity seems to resonate with what we're learning about the universe through modern physics. For example, Einstein's work on entanglement shows that particles can be linked in such a way that they influence each other instantaneously, even when separated by vast distances.
Hold on. Are you saying that there might be a connection between these seemingly random coincidences in our lives and this strange, non-local connection that exists between particles at the quantum level?
It's a tantalizing possibility, isn't it? We're accustomed to thinking of reality in terms of cause and effect, linear time, and separate objects. But both Jung and Einstein, in their own ways, challenge this framework. They suggest a reality that's more fluid, interconnected, and mysterious than we might initially perceive.
It's definitely mind-bending. And, this idea of actions having consequences that ripple out beyond our immediate understanding, it reminds me of the Buddhist concept of karma.
You're right, there's a definite connection. Karma suggests that actions have consequences that extend beyond linear time, creating a web of cause and effect that links us all. It's a way of understanding how our actions, thoughts, and even intentions create ripples that impact the world around us, even if we can't always see the connections directly.
So we're not just isolated individuals bouncing around in the universe. We're all part of this interconnected web, influencing and being influenced by everything around us.
That's the idea. And what I find so fascinating is that while Jung and Einstein were exploring these concepts through the lenses of psychology and physics, Buddhism offers a way to actually live with an awareness of this interconnectedness.
You're talking about practices like mindfulness and meditation, right?
Right. Exactly. Mindfulness is about paying attention to the present moment without judgment, noticing the interconnectedness of our thoughts, feelings, sensations, and the environment around us. It's a way of cultivating a deeper awareness of how everything is intertwined, of how our actions have ripple effects that extend far beyond ourselves.
Okay, so it's not just about intellectualizing these concepts, but actually experiencing them directly through our own awareness.
Precisely. It's about shifting from a me versus the world mentality to a more interconnected and compassionate way of being.
And I think about all of this Jung's collective unconscious, Einstein's interconnected universe, the Buddhist concept of inner being, and even synchronicity. It makes me wonder if we're all just scratching the surface of something much bigger, something we're only beginning to understand.
I think that's a very insightful observation, and it raises an important question. If reality is not as fixed or separate as we believe, what possibilities does that open up?
Wow, that's a big question, and one we definitely need to delve into further. But before we do, I want to remind our viewers that if you're enjoying this mind-expanding journey with us, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like this video, and share it with your friends. Now let's get back to this question of what possibilities open up when we start to embrace this more interconnected view of reality. Where do we even begin?
Well, I think one of the most powerful implications of this understanding is that it invites us to live with a greater sense of responsibility. If we recognize that our actions have ripple effects, that we're all interconnected in this intricate web of cause and effect, it naturally leads to a more ethical and compassionate way of being in the world.
It's like that saying, what we do to others, we do to ourselves. Our actions create the world we live in, both individually and collectively.
Exactly. It's a powerful reminder that even seemingly small acts of kindness or generosity can have a positive ripple effect, contributing to a more harmonious and interconnected world. And on the flip side, actions rooted in fear, greed, or separation can create disharmony and suffering, not just for ourselves, but for others as well.
It's like we're all holding pieces of a giant puzzle, and how we choose to use those pieces impacts the overall picture. It's a lot of responsibility, but also incredibly empowering.
I agree. It's empowering because it reminds us that we have agency, that our choices matter. We're not just passive bystanders in this grand cosmic drama. We're active participants, co-creating the reality we experience both individually and collectively.
So it's not about trying to control the universe or force things to happen, but rather about aligning our actions with our values, with our understanding of this interconnectedness.
Precisely. It's about recognizing that we're all in this together, that our well-being is ultimately intertwined with the well-being of all beings.
One of the things that's really striking me as we delve deeper into these ideas is how much emphasis both Jung and Buddhism place on self-awareness. It's like they're both saying that before we can truly understand the universe, we need to understand ourselves.
That's such an important point. And both Jung and Buddhism offer tools for cultivating this self-awareness. Jung encouraged exploring our dreams, our shadow selves, and the archetypal patterns that shape our lives.
And Buddhism offers practices like mindfulness and meditation, which help us become more aware of our thoughts, feelings, and motivations.
Exactly. And what's interesting is that both approaches seem to lead to a similar outcome: a deeper understanding of ourselves and our place in the interconnected web of life.
It's like we need to turn inward to understand what's happening outward.
I like that. It's about recognizing that the microcosm reflects the macrocosm, that the patterns we see in ourselves are often reflections of larger patterns at play in the universe. And by understanding ourselves, we can begin to understand the world around us in a more profound way.
So by exploring our own inner landscapes, we're also exploring the vast landscape of the universe. It's like the journey inward and the journey outward are ultimately the same journey.
That's a beautiful way to put it. And it brings us back to this idea of interconnectedness, this unifying thread that runs through Jung, Einstein, and Buddhism. They're all pointing toward a reality that's far richer, more mysterious, and more interconnected than we might initially perceive.
It's definitely challenging our assumptions about how the world works.
Yeah.
And I think one of the most intriguing aspects of all this is that it suggests a deeper meaning to life, a purpose that goes beyond our individual desires and ambitions.
That's a great point. When we start to see ourselves as part of something larger, something interconnected and purposeful, it can profoundly shift our sense of meaning and belonging.
It's like we're all part of this grand cosmic dance, each playing our unique role in the unfolding of the universe. And that realization can be both humbling and incredibly inspiring.
It certainly can. And, this sense of wonder, this awe at the mystery and interconnectedness of it all, it's something that both Jung and Einstein seem to have embraced in their own unique ways.
Right. Einstein famously said, "The most beautiful experience we can have is the mysterious. It is the fundamental emotion that stands at the cradle of true art and true science."
And Jung spoke about the importance of numinous experiences, those moments where we encounter something profound, something that transcends our rational understanding and connects us to a deeper sense of meaning.
It's like there's this recognition that the universe is full of wonder, that there are forces at play that we may never fully comprehend.
Exactly. And, Buddhism offers a way to cultivate this sense of wonder through practices like mindfulness and meditation.
So it's not about trying to figure everything out, but rather about being present to the mystery, to the unfolding of life itself.
That's a beautiful way to put it. It's about letting go of our need for certainty and embracing the unknown. And in that space of not knowing, we open ourselves to a deeper kind of understanding, a sense of wonder and connection that transcends the limitations of our rational minds.
It's definitely a different way of looking at the world.
Hmm.
And, I think one of the most challenging aspects of this for many people is the Buddhist idea that reality as we perceive it is an illusion, this concept of Maya. It can be hard to wrap our minds around that.
It certainly can. But, I think it's helpful to remember that Buddhism isn't denying the existence of the physical world or our experiences within it. It's more about recognizing that our perception of reality as solid, separate, and enduring is a limited perspective, a kind of mental construct that obscures the true nature of interconnectedness.
So it's not that the world isn't real, it's just that our perception of it is filtered through our own mental lenses, our own beliefs and assumptions.
Exactly. It's like mistaking the map for the territory.
Yeah.
We get so caught up in our own mental models, our stories and labels, that we lose sight of the fluid, interconnected nature of reality itself.
It's like that saying, we don't see the world as it is, we see it as we are. Our perceptions shape our reality. And that's why practices like mindfulness can be so transformative. They help us become aware of those mental filters, those patterns of thinking and perceiving that limit our understanding.
That's a great point. Mindfulness is about cultivating a non-judgmental awareness of our thoughts, feelings, and perceptions, allowing us to see them more clearly without getting swept away by them. It's about creating space between ourselves and our thoughts, allowing for a more expansive and interconnected way of experiencing the world.
So it's not about trying to get rid of our thoughts or emotions, but rather about observing them, understanding them, and seeing how they shape our reality.
Exactly. And as we cultivate this awareness, as we begin to see through the illusion of separateness, something remarkable happens. We start to experience a deeper sense of connection not only to ourselves, but to the world around us.
It's like the boundaries we've created between ourselves and others begin to dissolve, and we start to see ourselves as part of something much larger, something interconnected and whole.
Beautifully said. And this experience of interconnectedness, this sense of belonging to something larger than ourselves, it's something that many people are longing for in today's world.
You're right. There's so much isolation and division, so much fear and uncertainty. People are searching for meaning, for connection, for something that transcends the limitations of their individual lives.
And what's so inspiring is that Jung, Einstein, and Buddhism all offer pathways to this deeper understanding, this experience of interconnectedness and wholeness.
They're like signposts pointing us towards a more expansive way of being in the world, a way of living that's rooted in compassion, wisdom, and a deep appreciation for the mystery and interconnectedness of it all.
That's a beautiful way to put it. And I think one of the most important things we can do is to share these ideas, to spark conversations that challenge our assumptions about reality, and invite us to embrace a more interconnected and compassionate way of being.
Absolutely. We need more of these conversations that bridge the gaps between science, spirituality, and the human experience.
I couldn't agree more. It's about recognizing that we're all in this together, that our well-being is ultimately intertwined, and that by working together, by embracing this interconnectedness, we can create a more harmonious and fulfilling world for all beings.
I love that. It's a message of hope. A reminder that even in the midst of chaos and uncertainty, there's a deeper truth, a unifying force that connects us all.
And it's a truth that's worth exploring, worth contemplating, worth living.
As we're wrapping up this part of our deep dive, I'm struck by how much ground we've covered. We've explored Jung's collective unconscious, Einstein's interconnected universe, the Buddhist concept of inner being, synchronicity, karma, mindfulness, and so much more.
It's been quite a journey. And I think what's so remarkable is that all of these ideas, these seemingly disparate threads, weave together to create a tapestry that's both intricate and beautiful.
It's like we're seeing a glimpse of a grand cosmic design, a design that's rooted in interconnectedness, compassion, and a deep sense of wonder.
And it's a design that we're all a part of, each playing our unique role in the unfolding of this grand cosmic drama.
Well said. And before we move on to our final thoughts, I want to remind our viewers one more time. If you're enjoying this deep dive, please hit that subscribe button, like this video, and share it with anyone who might be on a similar journey of exploration. Now let's continue our conversation and explore what all of this means for how we live our lives. So we've gone deep into these mind-blowing concepts, the collective unconscious, an interconnected universe, the illusion of separateness. It's a lot to take in, but here's the question that keeps swirling in my mind. What does this all mean for how we actually live our lives? Does understanding these ideas change anything?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And I think the answer is a resounding yes, because when we start to see ourselves not as isolated individuals, but as interconnected threads in this vast web of life, it fundamentally shifts our perspective. And our priorities.
Can you give us some concrete examples? How does this understanding translate into real-world actions and choices?
Well, for one, it cultivates a deeper sense of compassion and empathy. When we recognize that we're all interconnected, that our actions have ripple effects that extend far beyond ourselves, it becomes harder to turn away from the suffering of others. We start to see ourselves in others, and their struggles become our struggles.
It's like that saying, hurt people, but healed people heal people. When we understand our own interconnectedness, we naturally extend more kindness and understanding to others.
Exactly. And it's not just about being nice. It's about recognizing the shared humanity that binds us all. It's about understanding that we're all in this together, navigating the complexities of life. And that offering support and compassion is not only the right thing to do, but also ultimately benefits us all.
So it's not just about being altruistic, it's about recognizing that our well-being, is intertwined with the well-being of others.
Precisely. And this understanding can impact everything from how we treat our loved ones to how we engage in social and political discourse. It invites us to listen more deeply, to seek understanding rather than judgment, and to act in ways that promote harmony and cooperation rather than division and conflict.
That's a powerful shift in perspective. And it makes me think about how these ideas might influence our approach to personal growth and self-development. If we're all connected, does that mean our individual journeys are somehow less important?
That's a great question, and I think the answer is quite the opposite. Embracing interconnectedness doesn't diminish the importance of our individual journeys, it actually enhances them.
How so?
Well, when we recognize that we're all interconnected, it invites us to take responsibility for our own growth and healing, because as we heal ourselves, as we become more whole and integrated, we naturally contribute to the healing of the collective. It's like a ripple effect, where our individual transformations create positive waves that impact the world around us.
So it's not about becoming selfless or neglecting our own needs. It's about understanding that our personal growth is ultimately interconnected with the well-being of the whole.
Exactly. And this understanding can be incredibly empowering. It reminds us that we have agency, that our choices matter, and that even small acts of self-care and personal growth can contribute to a more compassionate and interconnected world.
You know, as we're talking about this, I keep coming back to the Buddhist concept of Maya, the illusion of separateness. It's a challenging idea, but it also feels incredibly liberating. Because if our perception of reality is ultimately an illusion, if the boundaries we've created between ourselves and others are not as solid as we think, then what possibilities does that open up?
That's a wonderful question to ponder, because it invites us to question our assumptions, to challenge the limitations we've placed on ourselves and our understanding of the world. It opens up the possibility of experiencing a deeper sense of connection, of unity, of belonging to something far grander than we can imagine.
It's like we're being invited to step out of the confines of our limited perceptions and into a more expansive reality, a reality where anything is possible.
That's a beautiful way to put it. And you know, this sense of possibility, this openness to the unknown, is something that both Jung and Einstein seem to embody in their own work. They were constantly pushing the boundaries of knowledge, challenging conventional thinking, and embracing the mystery of the universe.
Right. They weren't afraid to ask the big questions, to explore the uncharted territories of the human mind and the cosmos. And in doing so, they opened up new realms of understanding, new ways of seeing the world and our place within it.
Exactly. And I think that's one of the most important lessons we can take away from their work. It's about cultivating a sense of curiosity, a willingness to question our assumptions, and a deep appreciation for the mystery and wonder of it all.
So it's not about having all the answers, but rather about embracing the journey of discovery, the ongoing exploration of ourselves and the universe.
Precisely. And that journey, that exploration, it's something we can all embark on, regardless of our background, beliefs, or level of knowledge. It's about cultivating a beginner's mind, an open heart, and a willingness to embrace the unknown.
It's like we're all students in the grand school of life, constantly learning, growing, and evolving. And the more we learn, the more we realize how much we don't know.
That's the beauty of it. It's an ongoing process of discovery, of peeling back the layers of perception and revealing the interconnectedness and wonder that lies at the heart of it all.
You know, as we wrap up this incredible deep dive, I'm feeling a sense of both awe and responsibility. Awe at the vastness and interconnectedness of the universe, and responsibility for how I choose to live my life in light of this understanding.
I think that's a beautiful sentiment, and I hope our viewers are feeling it too, because ultimately, it's about recognizing that we're not just passive observers in this grand cosmic drama. We're active participants, co-creating the reality we experience, and that's both a profound responsibility and incredible privilege.
It's a reminder that our choices matter, that our actions have ripple effects, and that by embracing this interconnectedness, by living with compassion, wisdom, and a deep sense of wonder, we can contribute to creating a more harmonious and fulfilling world for all beings.
Beautifully said. And if you're feeling inspired to explore these ideas further, we encourage you to check out the 2 videos we have for you on the screen. They offer a deeper dive into some of the concepts we've discussed today, and we think you'll find them both fascinating and thought-provoking.
And of course, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the intersection of science, spirituality, and the human experience. We're so grateful to have you on this journey with us. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep embracing the wonder of it all.